Okay, it's finally happening. US President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un kick off the historic summit, a first step towards possibly ending decades of enmity between the two countries. The two men opened their highly anticipated meeting in Singapore, marking the first face-to-face encounter between a sitting US president and a leader of North Korea. Stephen Engel, who's been there, remember he was with us yesterday as well, he joins us from the Capella Hotel on Sentosa Island, where the discussions are currently underway. Stephen, everything going according to plan so far? I think we just lost Stephen. Anyways, we'll get him in moments from now and try and figure out what is it that he has to say. Remember, I mean, a win means different things to both Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. I mean, for Kim Jong-un, it may already have been achieved, because as long as he can avoid an acrimonious collapse of the talks, that's a victory in itself for Kim Jong-un. For Donald Trump, normally people would have anticipated just a basic outcome to work well. Just the fact that Donald Trump has said so much about what he can achieve via this meeting has set the bar higher. But let's get in Stephen Engel. He, I believe, is now with us. I believe we've connected to him. Steve, good morning, and thank you so much for joining in yet again. This is Neeraj here from the Bloomberg India studios. Everything going as per plan so far, you think?
Well, that's an interesting question, because when you ask me, have things gone to plan, that's assuming that we know what the plan was. We didn't know what the plan was, other than that they were going to have a handshake, and they did that at 9 a.m. In fact, they had about 3 different handshakes to different cameras and different awkward smiles, and then they retreated to talk one-on-one, and then they've had the long tables across each other. We're getting a few comments from the bilateral agreement or bilateral meeting. There should be a statement later. We're not sure about that yet. We also know that they are going to be or have already taken a tour around the Capella Hotel together, which is the building behind me here. They were going to walk around and take a tour and kind of have a little bit of a chit-chat. So far, what we've heard from the two gentlemen, not necessarily as warm and fuzzy and huggy as we got from Moon Jae-in, the South Korean president, and Kim Jong-un, the North Korean president, at the DMZ, where they talked about, you know, a new, warmer spring in their relationship. This is a relationship between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un filled with past animosity and really sharply worded insults to each other, whether it was a dotard coming from the North Koreans talking about Donald Trump, or whether Donald Trump was calling him Little Rocket Man. They have a lot of history to repair in a very short amount of time. And my initial take is that they, you know, were kind of half smiles in the opening few minutes.
You know, all the Bloomberg articles, Steve, is talking about how a victory is completely different in terms of equations for both Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. For Kim, I mean, as long as he can avoid a collapse of the talks, that will come out as victory. For Donald Trump, a victory out of these talks would be a lot different, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, everything really hinges, according to the United States, on the D word, denuclearization. And also, North Korea has to give some sort of indication, according to the United States, on a timetable for denuclearization before it will even consider the other things that the North Koreans presumably want. And that is, of course, relief on sanctions, but also assurances that their regime will remain and that the United States is not intending to try and overthrow the Kim regime. Well, we heard from the Secretary of State of the United States, Mike Pompeo, yesterday saying that they were going to offer up a unique approach to obviously calming North Korea's fears that the United States will push for a regime change. And he said we need to make sure that the North Koreans are assured that this whole episode will not end badly for them. But it all comes back to denuclearization. And very interestingly, this morning, in those cross-table talks, we heard a question delivered directly to Kim Jong-un about denuclearization, and he did not necessarily answer it yet.
Okay. It promises to be a busy day ahead as well. We won't take more of your time. Stephen Engel, many thanks for joining in today and giving us your thoughts. Really appreciate it.